As welcome as spring showers are, they bring to mind a few do's and don'ts, mostly don'ts, concerning the vegetable garden. The first of which is to never, ever work the soil when it's wet. Don't cultivate lightly, and for crying out loud, don't even think of wheeling out that rototiller. If you work the soil while it's wet, you'll destroy its natural structure. And what you'll end up with is an unmanageable mix of clods and dust. The best way to test whether your soil is ready for tilling, digging, cultivating, or planting is to grab a handful of it, form it into a ball, and if it crumbles easily, it's okay. If it sticks together, wait another day or two. Another thing you should avoid entirely is walking in a wet garden. For doing so contributes to soil compaction. Come here, you guy. But even more detrimental is the fact that walking in a wet garden is the surest way in the world to spread viral, fungal, and bacterial diseases. If you absolutely must walk in a wet garden, say to harvest that prize tomato, lay down a long board first. In doing so, you'll limit soil compaction and prevent your feet from coming in direct contact with the wet soil. The rains we've had this week are heavy enough to warrant pulling back the mulch I urged you to apply last week. That is, of course, unless your garden drains well on its own. Pulling back the layer of mulch will facilitate drying and prevent the soil from becoming so waterlogged that the plant's roots suffocate. As the soil begins to dry out, usually within 24 to 48 hours depending on weather, go ahead and reapply the mulch. One important thing you should do following a heavy rain, and I'll admit this sounds a bit strange, is water your plants lightly to remove the mud that's been splashed up onto the leaves. Again, the reason has to do with limiting the spread of soil-borne diseases. Just spray the leaves lightly to remove the mud, but do it before the mud has a chance to dry. Of course, if you mulch heavily, as you should, this may not be too much of a problem. So be thankful the rains finally arrived, but stay out of your garden this weekend. Go to Mayfest instead, or drop by your local lawn and garden center and see what's new in the world of gardening. I'm Paul James, with my buddy Spencer here, Master Gardeners for the News on 6, hoping all's green and wet in your garden. See you next week.